The meeting of the Committee on Student Achievement and School Innovation of the Board of Directors will please come to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Director Carr,
Present.
Director Garcia,
Here.
Director Gokul Gandhi has asked to be excused tonight. Director Leonard,
Present.
Chair Seamson.
Present.
We have 4 committee members present, and President Peterson is joining the committee tonight.
Thank you for joining us, President Peterson. The Chair will now ask the Secretary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Chair invites any members of the audience who wish to participate to do so and asks those who do not wish to participate to please remain silent during the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being conducted in person from the Central Services Building. In order to allow as much public access and participation as possible, this meeting is also being broadcast via live stream on the MPS website and on the MPS YouTube stream, the links of which can be found on the MPS website on the broadcast page. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si desea escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al 312-626-6799. Nuevamente, 312-626-6799 e introduzca el número de reunión 608-130-5362. Nuevamente, el número de reunión es 608-130-5362. Gracias.
Thank you. For each of our items of business, we will hold a discussion and public hearing. Those who wished to speak on tonight's items were required to register in advance to speak at the start of the meeting. When you are called upon to speak, please state your name and spell your last name for the record. I ask those who are waiting to speak virtually to remain on the platform until you are called upon to speak. After a speaker's time is up, they may continue to follow the meeting at one of the broadcast options mentioned previously. For the sake of fairness and to give everyone a chance to speak, the Chair reserves the right to limit the length of time allowed to any one speaker. Written testimony will be accepted for transmittal to the Board. Send this testimony to Office of Board Governance, P.O. Box 2181, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53201-2181, or fax to 414-475-8071, or email it to governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Just as a reminder, Robert's Rules of Order dictates that all comments should be directed to the chair of the committee. Also, any questions or requests, including those from the public, committee members, or the administration, are to be directed toward the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. Please be respectful of the democratic process adhered to by the board. For the safety of all and to ensure the good order of the meeting, harassment or intimidation tactics of any kind will not be tolerated. Anyone persisting in disrupting this process will be asked to leave or will be escorted from the meeting and not allowed to return. Anyone ejected from the meeting may continue to listen to the meeting or access the agenda items online. Also, no one other than members of the board, designated staff, and those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on the stage before, during, or after meetings of the board and its committees. Also, for the listening audience, if you wish to access this evening's agenda items and attachments online, you may do so by visiting the Meetings, Agendas, and Minutes page on the MPS website and choosing Online Agendas. Now let's begin. Madam Secretary, item number 1.
Item 1 is action on Resolution 2223R-14 by Directors Peterson and Leonard on an Early Years Success Center. The recommendation is that the board approve the resolution as listed in the attachments to the items in the revised version of the attachment.
Director Leonard, as co-sponsor of this item, do you wish to make any comments?
Sure. Thank you. So obviously I support this. The evidence is so strong in implementing anything we do with children at an early age, including behavioral interventions, that the resolution speaks for itself and the evidence is clear. Even this afternoon, President Biden was speaking to the need to put money into early childhood programs, both behavioral and academic. So I think we stand in the right place. I think this is the right direction to go in, and I'll leave it at that.
And President Peterson?
Yeah, I second what Mr. Leonard says. I think that the experience that we have in our current Success Center is what propelled both Director Leonard and me to move forward on this. We are very impressed with the work that's being done by our staff there, with the help of people from Marquette University and their Peace Center and other individuals. It's a very important program. Many people might not know about it. It's students who are struggling are there for 12 weeks generally, and then they get a lot of help, and then they're helped to transition back to their building. And one thing that I think says it's probably very good is the biggest problem they have is kids don't want to go back. They want to stay in that setting where they have a lot of support and are really starting to understand what they need. So our help, unfortunately, there are students younger than fourth grade that are struggling, and we need, I think this center would help some of those students. I mean, obviously, we have a multiple way of helping students in our district, but there's some who are just so in need of assistance. It's sort of like an emergency. It's not necessarily emergency, but it's more high intensive care sort of unit for students who are struggling. So I encourage people to vote for this, and I agree with the administration's suggested revisions. So thank you very much.
Would the administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, on February 23rd of 2023, Resolution 2223R-014 by Directors Peterson and Leonard on an early year success center was referred to the SASE committee. This evening, the administration is prepared to accept this resolution with the recommendations and revisions as attached to this item. I have Bridget Schock here with me, Director of Contracted School Services, and between the two of us, we're prepared to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Seeing none, do members of the public wish to make comments?
Madam Chair, we have no request for public testimony on this item.
Thank you. If I could pass the gavel to Director Leonard.
So noted.
Thank you. This is a great idea to support our youngest learners in a time when they may be experiencing some challenges for any number of reasons, to kind of really put them in a place where they get support and extra care and extra resources brought to them. The only thing I would ask, because it said that it was being brought back to the board, is if there could be, with that, just an overview of the programming that they would be having during the day.
Administration?
Chair Leonard and members of the committee, the administration will be more than happy to bring that back to the board as well.
Thank you. Yeah, and I also appreciated the change in the timeline, because I think something like this has the potential to have a great impact and success, and kind of being very thoughtful and mindful with how we roll it out is really important. So I also appreciated the changes that were made. And with that, I'll take the gavel back.
So noted.
Gavel back.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? All right, then we need a motion. President Peterson. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. He's not on the committee.
Oh,
We can't do that. Sorry. I saw Director Carr's hand go up.
I move approval of the item.
Thank you.
All right. Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director Carr's motion to move approval of Resolution 2223R-14 by Directors Peterson and Leonard on the Early Years Success Center. On the motion as read into the record, Director Carr? Aye. Director Garcia?
Aye.
Director Leonard?
Aye.
Chair Simpson?
Aye.
That's 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Great. Looking forward to seeing and hearing more about that. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item number 2, action on Resolution 2223R-16 on a feasibility study for a modified school schedule. The recommendation is that the board approve the resolution with the recommended changes in the revised attachment to this item, and that a report to the board be submitted in January of 2024.
Director Carr is the sponsor of this item. Do you wish to make any comments?
Yes, thank you. So what I first want to say to the listening audience, there was a media clip that was released yesterday, and it was absolutely misrepresenting the purpose and the intent behind the proposal. The proposal is not to reduce any instructional time or the instructional days. The purpose of the proposal is to support our educators and our students and also engage the community in a way that will fill the voids that currently exist in our models to further support our students and our teachers. We have about 215 teacher vacancies, and as many of us know, the NAEP data that was released in November of 2022 shows that academically we are very much so challenged, similar to a lot of districts across the country. And so this is an opportunity for us to gather in focus groups through a feasibility study to figure out what we will do next to support in a more aggressive and rigorous way our students, and also provide the supports for our educators because we are facing a significant teacher shortage. And so again, the purpose is to explore many different models and come together and figure out what is going to work for us. That could look like a year-round for our lowest performing schools, or perhaps mandatory summer school, or winter rims, or mandatory weekend academies, whatever it may be. But the beauty, again, in this feasibility study is to not cut anything short because we cannot afford to. And so for the parents who are concerned and for the community members who are interested in learning more about this, we are not taking anything away, but we are acknowledging that where we are is not a good space to be in, and we are also acknowledging that we have to do better by our children and our educators. Again, this is to study different models with so many others that are actively involved or not in our educational ecosystem, and from there, figure out a plan of action. And it will look different from elementary to middle to high school, but the bottom line is we cannot continue in the way that we are going. I do want to thank the administration for your approval with the suggested revisions that I am totally in support of, and I want to urge my colleagues on the board to do something different, because we have to. Now is the time. I heard or read a report somewhere that suggested that if we don't address in a more aggressive manner our academics and our financial position, there will be no MPS, and we cannot afford to lose our school district. And so I, again, hope that you all will join me in this. And then I hope that the listening audience, everyone in the audience, and those that are not listening, but that will be impacted by this, I hope that we can all come together and figure out what that instructional model is to meet the needs of today's learners. So thank you all.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, this evening, the administration is prepared to accept this resolution with the recommended revisions as attached to this item. I have with me this evening Martha Kreisman, Chief Financial Officer, and Paulette Chambers, Chief of Staff, and together we are prepared to answer any questions that you may have in regards to this item. Thank you.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Garcia.
Yes, thank you, Director Carr, for putting this forth for consideration. I think for me, it's really maybe getting a better understanding as to, what is the price tag that we're looking at for this feasibility study? And then secondly, and I believe this is reflected in the way that the resolution is worded, but just making sure that we are very clear as to exploring how staffing needs would be alleviated through this study. If there's something that we've seen through anecdotal conversations with school leaders, with, just teachers themselves, is the fact that, that teacher-student ratio is really, really important. So I'm just curious as to, as we, if we were to go ahead and explore how this would look like, just making sure that we are really triangulating the data as to, what our current needs are, where we're at, and where we want to be as far as this national crisis and how we're specifically addressing that head-on.
Thank you. Director Carr, and then we'll go to administration.
Okay, so what I will say is, great question. I think in order for us to determine what the expense will be, we have to proceed with approving of the item. And I think your concerns are absolutely valid. That's, again, the beauty of exploring and engaging every aspect of our educational ecosystem, including our educators, our administrators, our teachers, families, all of that. But I think we will not know that cost or that expense until we proceed with the next steps.
Administration.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, the administration don't want to influence the results of the RFP, and so we would be more than happy to bring those numbers back to the board after the process is over, if it's approved.
Thank you. Any follow-up, Director Garcia? All right. Any other, Director Leonard?
So, yes, I do have some concerns. I think my biggest concern really comes down to, well, one, I know for sure I would probably never be one that agrees with a 4-day work week. I just don't think that would work with most of our parents. But I do agree with, I have no problem with the feasibility study. The way this is set up this time around is much clearer to understand. I would like to have the evidence myself to see what the costs are, if it is even feasible in the first place. And once we get those answers, we can make a more wise decision on how to handle this. I also have to just mention the fact that I'm looking at parts of the resolution, and some of those parts go into other tangents that I would be much more curious about. So sections D, E, and G are areas that I've looked at that I said I would like to have answers in those places, and this would be the first time that I think this district has ever taken a serious look at some of those issues with regards to our district, which are definitely directly related to our financial solvency. Beyond that, my concern, just going to state my concern is I just don't know how we're going to get those kind of number of volunteers and people to work in our system. I question when people say, yes, we're going to do this, we're more than happy to be with you, and then when it comes down to putting skin in the game, they don't show up. And my experiences in the last 2 years has been that a lot of volunteer groups rarely show up after they make that offer. So I have to be very honest, the experience has not been very positive. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, could I pass the gavel? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just have, to me, one of the things that I struggle with is that it's, like when we talk about this initiative, it's very broad. We're looking at school models, internships, apprenticeships, a parent engagement institute, parent coordinators providing support at that institute. And it's, to me, I have a hard time moving forward with it because I feel like I'm not sure what exactly I'm looking at. And I do really have serious concerns about the idea of modifying, the school calendar that you mentioned, the hours, the days. It throws our families into a very precarious situation, when many of them just like, in the morning, they just want to put their children, make sure their bus comes on time and gets their kids to school. So I just have some concerns about the scope and the long-term ramifications of it. So those are just some of my initial concerns that I had. And with that, I will take the gavel back.
Okay,
Madam Secretary, are there any members of the public that would wish to make comments or make comments?
Yes, Madam Chair, we do have one individual who has registered to speak. Amy Mizialko, please state your name, spell your last name, and begin your testimony. One second.
Amy Mizialko, Mizialko. Chair Simpson, I'm a special education teacher and president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. I'm speaking against the resolution. 11 months ago this week, members of the MTEA Academics Labor Management Committee met with Director Carr at her request regarding her nearly identical failed 2022 resolution. At that meeting, Carr stated that she, quote, had no concrete plan, just ideas, unquote. In earnest, MTEA members asked over and over again for a clear explanation of the substance and merits of her proposal, to no avail. Carr told us Howard Fuller and Danae Davis recruited her to serve on the City Forward Collective Board, but that she resigned out of anger and frustration, noting that she was one of only two
We should be
black
cutting
board
her off
members.
like we cut everybody else off when they're not talking about relevant information. That's what we've done to people in the past.
And one of only two board members
Madam
representing
Chair?
the public sector.
Yeah, Madam-
Today, City
This
Forward
item
Collective.
is about the resolution that is the feasibility study. The feasibility study.
This is to the feasibility study, Dr. Carr.
Dr. Carr? I'm not a doctor, director.
So, everybody take a breath, and I think to make sure that we're moving forward, that everything is directed towards the feasibility study.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would ask that board governance not interrupt my testimony again. Today, City Forward Collective lists Director Carr as an employee on their website. Who would this proposal benefit? It can't be MPS families and parents whose children for one day a week would be with unlicensed private sector organizations with unknown track records. It can't be students. Do a simple Google search for a 4-day school week academic achievement. The results weren't great. It can't be MPS public education workers who are already underpaid in under-resourced schools and will be victim again to another privatizer cash grab. Who does the proposal benefit? Is it private vendors who desperately need income streams? Is it Director Carr's employer, City Forward Collective, and other parasitic privatizer groups who take resources from our students? Or is it her donors that we still don't know the identity of because she's failed to file campaign finance reports for a year? The proposal was disorganized and a careless.
Are there any other comments from committee members? Director Carr.
For clarification, I am not and never have been employed with City Forward Collective. I don't know where she gets her false information, but since we are talking about the feasibility study proposal, let me say that the teachers that are a part of the MTEA have this as representation, and that is one of the reasons why we have 215 vacancies. In addition to that, in an article where Amy Mizialko was referenced or quoted, was quoted,
Yeah, so I
she
do want
stated that the vacancies was because of poor working conditions,
I
something
think
that her
we're gonna
position
just
should address.
Stop the testimony
I asked the
now.
listening audience to follow the data and the needs of our children and the real needs of our educators
I'm
and not
asking that we
listen to
stop
her.
the testimony, because what we don't want to do is get involved in a back and forth between people. Comments are supposed to be directed toward the chair. And when we make personal attacks, it tends to take away from the importance of the conversation. And rather than focusing on the issue at hand, we get distracted by personalities and arguments and pointing fingers at one another. So I'm going to really ask that we move forward in a way that really focuses on the issue and not on personal attacks on other people. So with that, I am going to ask for more comments from the board if anybody else has ones. I will say that, my initial concerns with this proposal, remain. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate that before moving forward with any other comments from members of the board. Okay, seeing none, I would need a motion. Director Carr.
I move approval of the administration's recommendation to approve the item and proceed with the feasibility study proposal that will answer the concerns.
And will the secretary please call the roll?
On the motion, as read into the record by Director Carr, to approve Resolution 2223R-16 on a feasibility study for a modified school schedule. On the motion as read, Director Carr?
Aye.
Director Garcia?
Aye.
Director Leonard?
Aye.
Chair Simpson?
No.
That's 3 ayes, 1 no. The motion passes.
Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item number 3, which is action on a request to approve the contracts for behavioral reassignment seats with Banner Prep, Southeastern Education Center, and Lad Lake Synergy for the 23-24 school year. The recommendation is that the board approve the attached contracts for behavioral reassignment and at-risk seats as outlined in the attachment to this item.
Would the administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, we are asking for your approval of the behavior reassignment seats with Banner Prep, Southeastern Education Center, and Lad Lake Synergy for the 2023-2024 school year. I will ask Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services, to provide some additional information, and after which we'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Bridget.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Simpson, members of the board, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. The item before you is a request to approve the one-year contract renewals for the behavioral reassignment seats with Banner Prep, Lad Lake Synergy, and Southeastern. These schools provide a continuum of educational and behavioral services for students who have been reassigned through a central office hearing process. This is the standard item that comes each year after reviewing the data for each program and determining the district needs. When students arrive at these schools, the staff meet with each student and family to set academic and behavioral goals. These goals are reviewed and monitored consistently to ensure students are on track prior to returning to a traditional school setting. Each of the schools focus on intentional relationships, use trauma-informed care, provide social-emotional learning, and teach strategies to help students based on behavioral needs. All schools are connected to a larger social service agency that provide additional resources to assist families and students who might need these services. Banner Prep has partnered with the district since 2007. Banner Prep provides a multifaceted approach to address the varied learning needs of students in order to facilitate their desire to get back on track. This school serves students in grades 9 through 12 for a total of 125 seats. To date, the school has served a total of 151 students and has 101 students currently enrolled. Lad Lake Synergy has partnered with the district since 1996, and their mission is to guide growth, reaching potential, and living responsibly. The school serves students in grades 6 through 12 for a total of 90 BR seats and 20 at-risk seats, for a total of 110 seats. Due to the need for additional middle school seats, the proposed contract is for 110 behavioral reassignment seats in grades 6 through 12. Note that this is a removal of the at-risk seats due to kind of a low enrollment and the current needs of the district at this time. To date, the school has served 144 students with 79 students currently enrolled. Southeastern Education Center has partnered with the district since 1999. Southeastern provides students with a safe and secure environment within which students become empowered, strengthen academic skills, develop effective work school habits, and improve interpersonal relationship. The school serves students in grades 6 through 8 for a total of 85 seats. To date, Southeastern has served a total of 94 students with approximately 60 students currently enrolled. The total number of behavioral reassignment seats requested is 300 for the 23-24 school year in grades 6 through 12. The attached contracts are identical for each of the schools, and the total number of seats have not changed from the current school year. At this time, we welcome any questions you might have.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask any questions? Director Leonard.
Do we have any data on recidivism rates for the students that are in these programs?
Administration.
Chair Simpson, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. We do have data on that. I'd be happy to get it for you. I will tell you that based off of what we know, students don't want to leave these schools because it's small environment, it's safe, and so we do see students return, unfortunately, but we can get you those numbers. We have pulled the data. It's not as high as one would expect. It's pretty low. So,
Any other comments or questions? No? Okay. Madam Secretary, do any members of the public wish to make comments on this item?
Madam Chair, we have no request for public testimony on this item.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the board, from the board? No? We need a motion. Director Garcia.
I move to accept the request for, to approve contracts for the item before us.
Thank you. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
On Director Garcia's motion to approve the contracts for the behavioral reassignment seats as outlined in the attachments to this item. Director Carr.
Proudly, yes.
Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Leonard.
Aye.
Chair Simpson.
Aye.
That's 4 ayes. The motion passes.
Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item number 4, action on a request to approve an agreement with Milwaukee Area Technical College for at-risk students. The recommendation is that the board approve the attached agreement with MATC for at-risk students for the 23-24 school year.
Would the administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, we are asking for your approval on the agreement with Milwaukee Area Technical College for at-risk seats. Bridget Schock is here with me, and we're prepared to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Simpson, members of the board, Bridget Schock, Contracted School Services. The item before you is a request we bring every year for a one-year agreement with the MATC's Emerging Scholars Program. This has been a partnership for more than 20 years to offer a full-day program for students who are at risk of not graduating high school per the statute. The Emerging Scholars Program does provide young people with an opportunity to earn credits towards their high school graduation, but it also includes courses in the technical and career trade fields that MATC offers. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? All right, Madam Secretary, I'm so sorry, Director Leonard.
Just a positive comment. So I've had a chance to work with people from MATC that I know that live in my neighborhood, I'll be honest with you. And they mentioned the program. It's doing a great job. I just think that they deserve to be given some credit for what they're doing with us, and I love having this relationship with them and hope that it grows.
All right, thank you. What is the pleasure of the committee with respect to this item? Director Carr?
I move approval of the recommendations.
Any further discussion? All right, will the Secretary please call the roll?
On Director Carr's motion to approve the administration's recommendation relative to the agreement with MATC for at-risk students. Director Carr.
Aye.
Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Leonard.
Aye.
Chair Simpson.
Aye.
That's 4 ayes. The motion passes.
Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item number 5, which is action on a request to approve the non-instrumentality charter school contract with Hmong American Peace Academy LTD for Hmong American Peace Academy, HAPA. The recommendation is that the board approve the attached contract with HAPA to begin with the 2023-24 school year and to end on the last regularly scheduled day of the 27-28 school year.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, we are asking for your approval of a charter school contract with Hmong American Peace Academy. And at this time, I will ask Bridget Schock to provide some additional information. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Simpson, members of the board, Bridget Schock, Contracted School Services. We are happy to bring before you the 5-year non-instrumentality charter school contract with Hmong American Peace Academy, otherwise known as HAPA. Attached to this item is a summary of those proposed modifications, the red line contract, as well as the appendices. HAPA is led, and she's here tonight, by founder and chief executive officer, Dr. Chris Herjong. HAPA provides students with rigorous academics, character development, and Hmong cultural values to prepare them to excel in colleges, universities, and careers. HAPA has been a valued partner with the district since 2004, serving students in grades K-4 through 12. The proposed modifications to this contract also include some statutory changes and some technical revisions that have been included in previous contracts that we brought forward. At this time, we can answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Right. Madam Secretary, do any members of the public wish to make comments?
Madam Chair, we do have Ms. Chris Herjong here to testify on this item in person. Please state your name, spell your last name, and begin your testimony.
Good evening. My name is Chris Herjong, CEO of Hmong American Peace Academy, members of the committee. On behalf of our parents, scholars, staff, administration, and board, we would like to say thank you to the MPS School Board of Directors, Superintendent Posley, Director of School Services, Bridget Schock, and her team for partnering with Hmong American Peace Academy. As a high-performing school and an award-winning public charter school, HAPA will be celebrating our 20th anniversary next year as we start our new contract. We are honored and proud to continue our partnership with MPS. HAPA, in a sense, is transformational. The scholar, the family, and the city are all transformed through HAPA's mission and investment. The scholar is transformed from an at-risk to an independent scholar prepared to succeed in college and in life. The family is transformed through the child taking strides towards success and opting out of poverty and lack of opportunities. In our heart of hearts, the city is transformed through proof and inspiration that turnarounds are possible and that education can deliver on its promise of prosperity. Members of the board, please join me in our saying that to transform our life is to transform our world. I hope that you will approve our contract so that we can continue our beautiful relationship for the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you. What is Director Leonard? I'm sorry, Director Peterson.
I want to thank the members of the HAPA community that are here. I appreciate the fact that you're such a good partner with MPS. And I'm sure we can continue to learn from each other. I know that one of the things that I hope, just a hope, it's not a criticism, but it's a hope that the good work that you do can extend to increasing numbers of students who have special needs, because I'm sure that they will do well with you. And I know that you have a large community that is so supportive that it'd be great to see that happen. So thank you for your hard work.
Is there any further discussion? Director Garcia.
I just wanted to say thank you again to the community from HAPA that not only is here tonight, but has really walked along the process of this charter contract renewal. As someone who was part of the committee for the renewal and did the site visit and had the pleasure of spending a whole day through your school calendar, the mission of your organization, I think, really comes to life because of the passion of the folks involved. You really bring students and parents along and make education a communal approach, which I really appreciate. And this is something that I shared in my review for the renewal, but just the important work that you do for our city, centering the Hmong culture, uplifting, values that have to do with how we can create a more peaceful world, I think is something that we all need to have a thriving example. So thank you for that, and congratulations on 20 years. So next time we're having this conversation, we'll be looking at your 25th anniversary. So looking forward to working alongside you these next years.
Any further comments? All right. What is the pleasure of the committee? Director Leonard.
I move that we accept their contract renewal.
All right. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
On Director Leonard's motion to approve the non-instrumentality charter school contract with Hmong American Peace Academy LTD for the Hmong American Peace Academy, HAPA. On the motion as read into the record, Director Carr?
Proudly, aye, and congratulations on the 20th anniversary.
Director Garcia?
Aye.
Director Leonard?
Aye.
And Chair Simpson?
Aye.
That's 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item number 6, which is a report with possible action regarding the implementation of the personal finance course. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, the financial literacy team is here with me to update us on the financial literacy course. I will now turn it over to Eric Radomski, Program Manager for Career and Technical Education, to lead us through the presentation. Eric.
Thank you, Dr. Posley. Chair Simpson, members of the committee, Eric Radomski, Manager of Career and Technical Education. I'm going to introduce Marty Diaz, the Financial Literacy Teacher Mentor, who will provide tonight's report.
Good evening, Chair Simpson, members of the committee. My name is Marty Diaz. I'm the Financial Literacy Teacher Mentor for Milwaukee Public Schools, and I'm here to share the personal finance report with you. Of our 5 district priorities, our work of implementing the personal finance course supports 2 of the priorities, which is developing staff and increasing academic achievement and accountability. The report tonight will cover the period from our last report in November until now. It'll be a summary of our course implementation in high schools across the district, including relevant data and highlights from the year, a review of the teacher professional development plan, an update of events and engagement strategies we've implemented to support financial literacy for students, and I'll end the report by sharing immediate next steps and inviting personal finance students to share their experiences. This table shows a timeline of the personal finance course implementation. The great news is we hit our goal of having every high school listed on the table offer the personal finance course since the board passed the resolution back in May of 2021. While North Division is not on the table, they are on track to offer the course next fall. We started with 3 schools in 2021, and now we are happy to say we will have every high school in our district offer the course by fall of 2023. Since we began, we have offered the personal finance course to over 3,000 students. Currently, this semester, we have 1,106 students enrolled in the course. With the support of our partners, we continue to provide valuable hours of professional development during the summer, after school, and on weekends. Personal finance teachers have completed a total of 1,551 hours of professional development this school year. Next month, during the Professional Development Day, we plan to host an institute to provide personal finance teachers an opportunity to learn more content and obtain resources for their class. Our advisory board members and other community partners include Asset Builders, Junior Achievement, Next Gen Personal Finance, Bank on America, the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions, R.W. Baird, Educators Credit Union, Concordia University, Secure Futures, EdVest, Climb USA, UW Milwaukee, and UW Credit Union. Every year, personal finance teachers take at least 2 certification courses specializing in specific topics, including investment, banking, credit, behavioral economics, consumer skills, taxes, and paying for college. We currently have 5 teachers that have been identified as distinguished teachers by Next Gen Personal Finance for taking more than 6 certification courses. We have Drew Blau from Riverside High School, Hannah Lipscher from Green Tree Preparatory Academy, Tracy Martin from Milwaukee High School of the Arts, Theodore Frank from Milwaukee Marshall High School, and Sagar Talani from South Division High School. We have some exciting financial literacy events planned geared towards increasing interest and engagement in the personal finance course. Our personal finance students began the stock market game this semester in February. They are competing to see who can best manage a $100,000 investment portfolio. Next year, we will invite our elementary and middle school students to play the stock market game as well. Today, we started our Finance and Investment Challenge Bowl at Cardinal Stretch. Tomorrow, we'll have 10 more students competing, 10 more schools competing at Cardinal Stretch. I want to say congratulations to Riverside High School. They received first place in the competition today, and they will compete at the state competition in Madison on May 17th. Last year, Hamilton High School and Milwaukee High School of the Arts had teams that competed at state. In April, during Financial Literacy Month, we'll host Reality Check Day for every personal finance student to attend, a simulation on budgeting hosted by Educators Credit Union and UW Milwaukee. They will also tour the College of Business while on campus. During April, we will also host our first district-wide Family Financial Literacy Night. This event will provide families, staff, and students an opportunity to attend live workshops that will focus on building credit and real estate investment. We are happy to announce that we will bring back FinLit Fridays virtually during Financial Literacy Month in April for middle school students, which was very successful last spring. Each Friday, students are invited to participate and learn about specific finance topics of high interest in a fun way. Personal finance students at Riverside will have an opportunity to meet author and YouTuber Yaneli Espinel, also known as Miss Be Helpful, and hear her read an excerpt from her new book, Mind Your Money. In May, personal finance students at Vincent High School will be participating in a game show event hosted by Everfi and Educators Credit Union, with game show host Leroy Butler being the game show host. Several students have expressed interest in developing their own after-school investment clubs to deepen their understanding of the stock market, and we will continue to work and support their interest. Our next steps include continuously improving our partnerships to ensure that our students have access to a comprehensive personal finance education that includes many hands-on opportunities to learn both inside and outside the classroom. We will continue to offer many professional development opportunities for teachers and other interested staff, and will work with parent coordinators and school staff to provide opportunities for families to participate in financial literacy workshops at individual schools. While we've already started reaching out to middle schools, we will continue to work with schools and ACP coordinators to determine how we can support the expansion of financial literacy to middle school and elementary school students. We want to take the opportunity to recognize and thank our amazing partners that support the work we're doing in our district around financial literacy. Thank you for prioritizing financial education. This concludes my portion of the report. Now I'd like to invite 2 personal finance students to share their experiences. First, we have Jayana Nelson. She's a freshman at Green Tree Preparatory.
Good evening, Chair Simpson and members of the committee. My name is Jayana Nelson. I am in 9th grade and I go to Green Tree Preparatory Academy. I'm enrolled in personal finance this semester. I really enjoy the personal finance class. Even though I don't have a job at this moment, this class has taught me how to handle my money when I get a job, especially splitting my money between savings and checkings every time I get a paycheck. In class, we are learning about using compound interest to save for emergencies and retirement. I am also learning about bull and bear markets. My class is doing a competition with the stock market game. We have to decide how to invest $100,000. I invested my money into Nike, Apple, and Sony stock. I am excited to learn about credit scores because I think it plays a big role in my life. I learned that you need a good credit score to do a lot of things like getting loans for college, buying a house, or buying a car. My favorite thing about the class are the games that we play. For example, we play Spin, which is a game about living paycheck to paycheck. This game helped me realize it's not easy to make decisions involving money when you don't have money saved up for emergencies. This is why it's so important to have a savings account. Overall, this class has helped me learn how to be financially independent and use my money wisely. I will recommend this class to other students.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your experiences, Jayana. Now we have Lamont Johnson. He's a senior at Riverside High School.
Good evening, Chair Simpson and the members of the committee and everyone listening. I am Lamont Johnson, Jr., a senior at Riverside University High School. I took the personal finance course last school year and worked as a teacher's assistant for the first semester of this year. Before the course, my perceived notion was that the class would be limited to living beyond your means, or if you save $1 a day, there would be an accumulated amount down the road. But as class progressed, I realized there was more to learn. Our first project in the course was to complete a W-4 and manually do our taxes with the given information of our occupation, pretend family if we were married, single, divorced, and adjusted gross income. The course exposes students to the operations with money and the innovative risks that can emerge with the advancement of technology. In personal finance, there was a beneficial lesson in investing and saving for the long run and handling money over time. What I found most shocking is the real risk of fraud. Your credit card information can be scanned by a swipe of a device by an individual if they angle the device in a non-suspicious manner. That's scary. There are vast opportunities for risks, especially with the ever-growing popularity of mobile banking like Cash App. What I found to be the most useful and engaging with students in the personal finance course was the stock market game. Students were enthralled with investing. Even so, they competed with each other. The classroom engagement was the most active when students were playing the stock market game. There have been numerous accounts when students, instead of partaking in the day-to-day lessons, they were whispering to each other about the next investment they can make in a company. I recall how tense the classroom was when I participated in the stock market game and stocks for a specific company didn't perform too well, like I did with oil and gas. The optimistic and attentive attitude students had towards the stock market game and the personal finance course illustrates that if given exposure to finances and investing at a young age, we could be much more assured about investing and practicing good money habits as adults. The personal finance course is paramount for young adolescents of any demographic, especially our future business leaders. This endeavor starts with the schools and the financial supporters to grant them the essential opportunities to lead them in that direction. With the understanding I mastered from the personal finance course, when I turn 18 in April, I will feel confident when I make my first investment in stocks and other financial endeavors. The stock market game and the personal finance course is truly critical and paramount for young adolescents.
Thank you so much, Jayana and Lamont. You did an amazing job. Thank you. This concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you, Jan and Lamont. You did a marvelous job presenting and gave us a lot of really good information to think about. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Dr. Garcia?
Thank you to Jayana and Lamont for sharing your experience. I guess my question to you is, from your perspective as someone who is currently either taking the course or has taken it, and even for you, Lamont, that you've kind of been in the area assisting others of your peers through this course, what areas of improvement do you recommend?
Firstly, I would like to start with, in comparison to last year, there has been a vast improvement as far as content-wise, especially with videos. They're more advanced, they're more updated, and they're really tailored for teenagers to understand at their level. I would say some changes that can be made in the course is getting more speakers in the classroom. It's one thing if your teachers teaches you about finance, and it's another thing if they teach you things on a YouTube video. But it's impactful when you have an individual come into the classroom and talk to the students about finances. I think that's how we can target students into remembering how to invest and to make future endeavors in finances.
Dr. Garcia, any other questions?
No, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Director Carr?
I just want to say thank you all for being here tonight and sharing your experiences. It is very insightful and helpful as we, proceed with what's to support and what's to scale or expand. I also want to say that you all are teaching us a lot. These are things that I did not learn while I was in school, and I had to learn the hard way. So I can appreciate that you all are young and learning. And if you ever have any other feedback, do not ever hesitate to let us know.
And Director Leonard?
Very well spoken. Thank you. And I have to bounce off of Director Carr's statement. You're right, I had to learn the hard way. So I think that this is pivotal to do this in our classrooms. I did have the chance to visit, went to a Secure Futures meeting, met some of the students at Hamilton, and I think the one thing that really hit me was how excited our high school students were about taking this course. That is by itself a big plus for MPS, so thank you.
President Peterson?
Thank you. Likewise, very good presentation, and I know who to come when I have problems with my taxes now. If you figured it out, great. The one question I had is a question that I raised a couple of months ago when we talked about this class, and that is whether or not or how the curriculum can deal with issues of equity and inequity, and how my perspective is it's important for students to learn about how certain financial institutions haven't treated all races equally, and to make people even more alert about potential dangers. And I was wondering if anybody would care to comment on that. I know it's a complicated situation, but it's something I strongly believe that should be involved in a course like this.
Administration? Or the students, whoever wants to take it.
Director Peterson and members of the committee, Chair Simpson, members of the committee, we do start the semester with talking about racial inequity and the history of racism in finance specifically. The students could speak to that because that is a unit that we do cover. That's the very first unit, and it seems to really engage the students in understanding the background behind that.
Thank you. Would either of the students wish to speak?
Yeah, like Ms. Diaz said, that was the first topic that we talked about in the class. That was typically like the first couple of weeks is about, inclusivity and about the historic background we have with banking and investments and how that impacted the community, especially Black Americans and minorities. So that was the first topic that we covered before we went on to other topics in the course to make sure that we have that background knowledge of, okay, so this is our history, this is where we're at now, and this is where we want to be. And that was very important. So yeah, that was the first thing that we covered in personal finance.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Okay, a round of applause for our students, yes. Very nice. Thank you very much again for coming and speaking with us this evening. Just eloquent speakers. Thank you very much. You're very insightful. Madam Secretary, oh, yes. Yeah. I am so sorry. I was just scooching along here. Yes, let's go on to our public testimony. Yes, sorry about that.
Shelby Strotter. Madam Chair, you can go ahead and move on to the next item, and if we...
I'm sorry.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
I wasn't able to talk at first. I wanted to say the students did an amazing job. And the second thing, I think that finance is a great thing to have for the students because I'm 34 I have 3 children, and financially, I wasn't ready. And to have that class in high school, I really feel like it needs to be in middle school. So then the kids would know how to balance whatever type of income they have. We all have the dream of becoming, something great and being millionaires, but it may not happen right away. So those finance classes are perfect and tremendous because it's teaching you how to take $2 and turn it into $5. And I think that we should incorporate mini business world, where we're teaching the kids how to run a business of their own.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that testimony.
Thank you.
And
Madam
that-
Chair, that completes
that was it.
public
Okay,
testimony on
thank
this
you.
item.
And now the next item, please.
The next item is item number 7, which is a report with possible action regarding art education. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, this evening we bring you the biannual report on art education. It will be presented by Dr. Boland tonight, Manager of Fine Arts, and after which we'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Dr. Boland.
Dr. Deborah Bowling, Manager of Fine Arts. Director Simpson, members of the committee, I am pleased to come before you today and present some updates and some celebrations. So as always, we focus on our 5 priorities for success. And here we're really looking at increasing academic achievement and certainly how we're improving school culture through the arts. So just to give an update on staffing and the expansion for next year, we do have a few schools that we are adding some FTEs. Just for this coming school year, we have not as many. We wanted to take some time to make sure we're filling the positions that were vacant this year, and then going back and looking at schools that would need additional allocations after this year. But you can see right now, Cycle A vacancies were posted. Today was the last day for people to apply. So full-time positions will be interviewed at the school level, and then paired position interviews will be done by our fine arts team. We've really spent some time this year trying to focus on recruitment and retention. So we have the Cargill Grant, which continues to focus on recruitment and retention in years 0 through 5 of employment. So that means it focuses on student teachers and those people that are focusing on getting licensure on the job. We have the partnership with UWM Education Department and the Peck School of the Arts. And all of our new teachers receive 1 year of coaching through the Fine Arts Department. And that means that they have mentors that come and see them 3 to 4 times a month. So on average, they're having someone in their classroom either modeling, coaching, team teaching at least 1 time a week. Teachers in years 2 to 3 have access to peer mentors. So if they want to continue to receive those services and support, they have that option. And then new this year, also, teachers in years 4 through 5 have the opportunity to host an artist in residency program. So this is exciting because we have teachers that have specialty areas that they focus on, but sometimes they want to learn about new things. So we have some ceramic artists and some mural artists that are working currently with teachers, and it's really been very exciting for our veteran teachers to be able to have those experiences and learn alongside with an artist. And we have our monthly cohort meetings and workshops, and you can see they've got some pictures there of our teachers. One of them is one of our workshops that took place in one of our MPS buildings, and another was hosted by the Kohler Art Gallery. And just some examples of the quality art materials that we have been able to purchase, which has been very exciting. And I want to say quality in terms of almost professional grade materials for our students, which is really exciting. So teachers can request high quality art materials whenever needed through ESSER and referendum funding. They can also request technology such as classroom sets of Chromebooks, smartboards, laptops, document cameras, and traditional or digital cameras. Teachers are also able to request large-scale items such as kilns, clay equipment, printmaking, printing presses, and new furnitures and storage for all of those items. And looking at the pictures, you can see we have students that are learning to throw on the wheel and some beautiful pottery, some really high-quality drawings. So it's really good to see our students being exposed to some high-quality materials with their instruction. And also, we've been able to see students really flourish in the quality art experiences that have gone into the community. So we had about 5 murals at the Holiday Folk Fair. So students were able to participate at 5 different schools. And we were focused on the news, too, which was kind of cool. At the Kohler Art Center, we have a mural there that is done by some students and a teacher from High School of the Arts. We had a record number of MLK Junior Art Contest submissions, and you can see that the quality of the work is really superb. And community displays like the Christmas trees in Cathedral Square, art galleries that are popping up, even in the school buildings during open houses, parent-teacher conferences, so students really have that opportunity to be out using high-quality things, being proud, and showing off for the community. So that's very exciting. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Garcia.
Hi, thank you for this report. I had a question in regards to the amount of artists and residents that we have. Would you be able to just provide a little bit more of to how many, and then if you know, like the distribution within the district?
Dr. Bowling?
Yes. Director Simpson, members of the committee, we have about 4 artist in residencies currently. We have one that was starting at Elm actually today. And we also have, I think, 3 others, but I would have to get back to you exactly where they are located. Last year, we also had 5 across the district. And I could also get you the name of those schools as well. It's really about asking teachers who are interested in having those experiences. We present them to the art teachers as well as the SSTs, the school support teachers, at all of our locations and ask them if it's something that they would like to look into, and then they have to fill out a form, and then they can request what they're interested in. So, and that gets funded through the Cargill grant, because it's really focusing on how we're going to retain those teachers.
Follow-up?
Yes, another question. So I know it's that time of year where I think it's the Congressional Art Contest.
Yes.
Can you speak into our involvement within that?
Dr. Bowling?
Dr. Deborah Bowling, Director Simpson, members of the committee. We have provided all of those opportunities to our art teachers. So as soon as we get information about contests, those go out right away. I personally send out an update every Friday and include all of those pieces of information. And then we also have a high school visual art teacher leader that works with our high school folks to make sure that they get that information and they're getting those things out to students.
Any more questions?
Just one more, and I'm not sure if this is something to necessarily for Dr. Bowling, but I know that Wisconsin is launching the first Youth Poet Laureate program through a partnership with Woodland Pattern. So I'm just wondering if we have been able to support those efforts. I would be really, really interested that the first Poet Laureate be one of our students. So if you could just speak on that.
Dr. Bowling?
Director Simpson, members of the committee, I cannot answer that question, but I do know we have an increased kind of involvement in poetry. I know the Poetry Slam is coming up, and that is from the writing team. So that's a great opportunity, and hopefully we'll be able to participate in that.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, that is something we have taken note of, and we will get back to you with that information as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? President Peterson?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. I was wondering, this current school year, how many vacancies did we have in terms of art, visual arts?
Dr. Bowling?
Director Simpson, members of the committee, I did not provide that information in this report as it was reported last month,
Okay.
but I can certainly give you those numbers again.
Okay, then my other question is more of a strategic question having to do with Milwaukee High School of the Arts and our Roosevelt Middle School, Lincoln Middle School of the Arts. And as we look at enrollment at those schools, I'm just curious if there's any thinking strategically on part of the district about how to publicize those schools, especially to get kids who have the art experience in the middle schools or K-8 schools, and so that they'll be more interested in going into the Milwaukee High School of the Arts, which is a great school. One of my daughters went there and really benefited from it. But I know that in terms of kids applying through that school, it's more limited than it's lower than we'd think and want. And I think a lot of it has to do with decisions made quite a while ago where schools like Lincoln and Roosevelt didn't get the financial support that they needed. I'm not criticizing anybody, but I just think we went through some hard times. Any thoughts?
Administration?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, one of the things I will say when you talk about Roosevelt as well as Lincoln Center of the Arts, those are two of the schools that have been a part of our plan with communications on how we increase those numbers. Over the years, the enrollment at those schools has been trending upward and going in the right direction. However, they are still not where we want them to be. So special emphasis have been put on with our plan for recruitment. And there we have a number of different schools that we have on that overall list. And the arts is an area in which we're looking at on how we can improve the number of students coming into those programs. So we'll be more than happy to get you the information that Nicole Armendariz and Mr. Boswell's team has worked on and pulled together around recruitment efforts for that. However, with the High School of the Arts usually always making their numbers and have an abundance of students waiting for that selection. So we're still working with that, but also to make sure that we have the pipeline to get to the High School of the Arts, and that is making sure with all of our art schools, Elm and all of the others like Sherman and various schools that we have with an art emphasis, to make sure that we have students in that pipeline moving into at the high school level, middle school and high school level.
Thank you.
President Peterson,
Thank you.
any other questions? No? All righty. Any other comments by committee members? Madam Secretary, do we have any public comment?
Madam Chair, we have no request for public testimony on this item.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, thank you very much for that report. And Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item number 8, which is a report with possible action regarding music education. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, this evening we bring to you our biannual report on music education, and it will be presented by Sherry Garcia, who is our curriculum specialist. Following her presentation, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Posley. Chair Simpson, Sherry Garcia, Music Curriculum Specialist, and I will be presenting our music update this evening. We will focus particularly tonight on increasing our academic achievement and accountability, and also on strengthening our communication and collaboration. So our music department hosted the Wisconsin School Music Association Solo and Ensemble Festival this past Saturday at Rufus King High School, Saturday, March 4th, at which over 500 MPS young musicians performed solos and ensembles. It was a wonderful day, and 99 of them, that's what the blank space is on there, advanced to state, and they'll get to perform their solo again at the next level, competing with all of the other students that are from everywhere in the state of Wisconsin. We are also very proud to host a large group contest, and that's going to be happening at the beautiful Milwaukee Youth Arts Center, which is just down the road. On that, there are 3 days for that event. So on the band day, which is on March 28th, we'll be hosting 12 different school bands, and they'll perform for a panel of judges, and then they'll also have some opportunity to listen to their peers and be critiqued by them as well. On the orchestra day, we have about 12 orchestras that will be performing in the same format. And then the final day of the week will be the choir day, and there are 8 Milwaukee Public School choirs that will perform for adjudicators and their peers. In terms of recruiting for our teachers, we've had all kinds of different things going on, but one of the big events I went to this year was the Texas Music Educators Association. It was an incredible day. I was able to meet with all kinds of different groups that are doing some of the things that we're doing here in Milwaukee Public Schools. I met with the Texas Black Music Educators. I had an opportunity to talk to music education faculty from universities all over the state of Texas, which is a big place. There's a lot of music education students in that state. Gave them information about our music expansion and was really proud to say some of the really great things that we're doing here in Milwaukee. I did attend a full day of workshops on music technology, which we're just getting started with in Milwaukee. We have some really nice programs in a few schools, and it's a really amazing and interesting area that I think our students will really benefit from. So I learned a lot from that particular session. And then I was able to meet with a group called the Young Producers Group, who are active in the LA Unified School District, and hopefully bring some new curriculum to our students coming up in the future. We have filled vacancies just in the last few months. We filled a vacancy at Milwaukee Academy of Chinese Language, one at Wedgwood, one at Bethune Academy, and then a paired position at River West and Seaford. We do have all of our music positions posted and open right now for the 23-24 school year. They're posted on WeCan and on the MPS portal. The principals will conduct interviews for the positions that are in a single school, and then our music team will do all of the interviews for the paired positions and also for the traveling music teachers. While I was sitting backstage, someone accepted their application interview time, so they're rolling in, and we have quite a few set up in the next coming weeks. We've done quite a bit of professional development in the last few months. We had an inclusive music instruction professional development on a Saturday. We offered a session on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. That was held at Elm Creative Arts School. That's the picture that you see there. We do have upcoming sessions for all of our band, modern band, orchestra, and vocal teachers. We are offering an ORF instrument refresher coming up Saturday, March 17th. Also will take place at Elm, and that's sponsored by the Save the Music Foundation. And then we'll be offering a session jointly with the library team on music and literacy in the month of May. We do continue to offer these band, modern band, orchestra, and choir teacher cohorts on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you very much for those updates. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Leonard.
I almost really don't have to ask this because I'm on the committee, but just a reminder to keep us abreast of how we're doing on hiring, so we have a really clear idea when we walk in. Actually, that's the same for art, music, and really even PE if we had it, to find out where we're at before we end the year.
Administration?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, yes, we will do just that. We are, two of the chiefs are on those same committees as well, three of the chiefs. And the Human Resources Chief is one of those individuals that's a part of that committee, and they are staying abreast and making sure that we are moving that process forward and making sure that we are getting all of our staff in place as soon as possible.
Follow-up, Director Leonard? Would you like that information sent to you?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. Any other comments? Director Carr?
I just want to say congratulations on the progress and all of the great work that you all are doing. It feels good, it sounds good, and I look forward to learning more and supporting in whatever way possible. But I just wanted to say congratulations. Great work.
President Peterson?
Yeah, likewise, good work. I see that we're, I think, climbing back up to be a leader in music education than as we were decades ago. I had two questions. One very simple, shows what I know. Could you tell me what an ORF instrument refresher is?
Ms. Garcia?
Director Peterson, Sherry Garcia. It's an amazing sort of fleet of instruments that are like xylophones. Some of them are made of wood, some of them are made of metal. They're played with a mallet. And it's a really collaborative thing, so students are able to improvise, students are able to play melody, they're able to play two pitches at the same time. They're really fun.
Sounds good. And the other question I have is, where do we recruit? Where are the students who are graduating from college who are in music coming to us? Where are they mainly from? Is it UWM or is it elsewhere?
Director Peterson, they are from everywhere. So we do have a few that come locally from schools like UWM and UW-Madison. We have quite a few that have come from UW-Whitewater. And we actually have a really nice group of students that has come from Augustana College in Rock Island, Illinois. It's not a large place, but they have a really wonderful music education program. And then we do have people that are coming from other places, from the Carolinas. I've got a couple applications on my desk from Arizona. Part of our efforts to go out and recruit in the broader USA are really starting to bear fruit. We're seeing people coming in from other places, and when I speak to them, sometimes they know about us already, which is very exciting. They've heard the story, and I think a large part of that is also our really wonderful music educators teacher group that is very active in social media, that is really proud of the progress that we've made as well, and they'll tell anybody that will listen to them about the great things that are happening here, and what a great place this is to work. So that's been wonderful, that larger network.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, and I just wanted to echo and bring in the idea that we have also been trying to recruit at HBCUs, historical black colleges and universities in the area of music, and that is one of the others. And I wanted to add it in with all of those great things that Sherry just shared with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other discussion among the board? Madam Secretary, is there any public comment on this item?
Madam Chair, we have no request for public testimony on this item.
All righty, further discussion? All right, next item, please.
The next item is item 9, a report with possible action on the regional showcase for the Northwest region. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, as always, I'm excited to bring to you our monthly regional showcase. This month, we are featuring the 91st Street School and welcome Principal Sanders who will join us as we go through our presentation. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Jeremiah Holliday, Instructional Leadership Director for the Northwest Region, to begin the presentation, and after which we'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Dr. Holliday.
Thank you, Dr. Posley. Good evening, Chair Simpson and members of the SASE Committee. I'm Jeremiah Holliday, Instructional Leadership Director for the Northwest Region. And tonight's showcase will feature the 95th Street School with the proud principal, Sarah Sanders. I'm delighted to share with you information about the Northwest Region and the wonderful work we continue to do to enrich the lives of our students and empower families. We want to begin our presentation tonight by sharing how the Northwest Region embodies the district's 5 priorities for success, especially with a keen focus on increasing academic achievement and accountability, developing our staff, and strengthening communication and collaboration. At this time, I would like to share with you our demographics to give you a better picture of the Northwest Region. The Northwest Region comprises of 24 schools and serves over 8,000 scholars in diverse settings to meet the varied needs of our students. We have over 700 dedicated staff members providing learning and support to our scholars daily, with the staff overall attendance of 95%. In looking at our demographics, you will find that we are very diverse in nature, from our Native American to our American Indian to our Asian, making up 5.5%, our Hispanic Latino making up 5.8%, and then with our African American or our blacks at 77.4%, and then of course with our economically disadvantaged group. From there, as I've shared with you, we have 24 schools in the Northwest Region. I just want to highlight and just share with you some of the things that we offer in terms of our programs and services to our students to support them towards their academic goals. The Northwest Region continues to build upon its success through committed instructional leaders and staff members, and certainly our dedicated community partnerships. A vital component that attributes to our growth is the success of students and families being what we call true partners in education. As you can see from the slide, we have K-5, K-8 neighborhood schools and specialty schools, along with the community and Verizon schools. As we reflect on our data, as we can see with our 2021-22 state report card as provided from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, despite the COVID-19 challenges, many of our schools exceeds or meets expectations. We continue to remain focused and driven on increasing student achievement. While there may be slippage in certain areas, instructional leaders and teachers continues to provide additional support to anchor our students academically and socially in the Northwest Region. Just to provide you with some breakdown, we do have 5 schools that exceeds expectations, 6 schools that meets expectation, 7 schools that meets few expectations, 4 fails to meet expectation, 2 alternate rating, 1 satisfactory progress, and 1 improvement. 1 needs improvement. As we reflect and analyze our data, we recognize that additional support was needed to improve academic achievement in all of our schools, but specifically looking at those schools that were in need of improvement. Therefore, schools identified specific strategies aligned with the ambitious instruction and continue to work to monitor and implement their impact and the strategies that impacts the work that have been identified within their respective school improvement plans. And so as a region, we continue to provide and create opportunities for students in the Northwest Region so they can thrive in the best learning environment possible. And Tonight, our school that is featured, 95th Street School, we continue to fulfill the expectation through utilizing rigorous teaching and more specifically, honing in on the foundational skills that will allow our scholars to do well in their K-12 experience. And so to hear more about the work at 95th Street School, it is my pleasure to turn it over to Principal Sanders for this portion of the presentation.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, I am Sarah Sanders, the proud principal of 95th Street School. 95th Street School's mission is to empower students to be lifelong learners who are caring, accepting, responsible, contributing members of their community. This will be achieved through the development of strong academic programs, a focus on social-emotional learning, and use of project-based learning activities to strengthen problem-solving and critical thinking skills. We are working hard to increase attendance. We have individual, classroom, and school-wide incentives for students meeting or exceeding the 95% attendance goal. We also have incentives for students whose attendance has improved from one month to the next. We are utilizing the district attendance check-in, check-out system, and the attendance mentors check in with students and their families in this program daily. Our suspension rate is very low. We work hard to find alternatives for suspension through counseling, restorative conversations, and utilizing support staff such as our school social worker and school psychologist. Our STAR participation in all areas meets or exceeds the participation rate, and our enrollment has steadily increased over the last 6 years that I have been principal at 95th Street School. Our report card accountability rating slipped after COVID. However, we are on the upswing and are confident we will be meeting expectations next school year through the use of school-wide intervention blocks, formative assessments, accelerated learning groups, and a focus on social-emotional learning needs. As I mentioned before, our enrollment has steadily increased over the past 6 years. We are proud that we are a top choice for families in the Northwest region. We participate in the Arts and Community Education program for K-5 through 5th grades. This program connects our students with professional artists through engaging arts experiences and integrated arts curriculum. This program encompasses all art forms, dance, drama, visual arts, spoken word, and all genres of music. We value art, music, and physical education at 95th Street School and make full-time specialists a priority in our budget every year. Art and music develop critical thinking skills, creativity, and support spatial temporal skills, which supports our math development. Physical education develops the social, physical, and emotional wellness in our students. Our school social worker runs 4th and 5th grade student council. Student council initiated honor roll and honorable mention at our school for our 3rd through 5th grade students. They initiated staff member of the week. They've spearheaded fundraisers to give back to the community, like our sock drive for the homeless, and acts as a collective voice for our student body. We recently received the book vending machine, which ties into our PBIS program. When students have been showing safe, responsible, and respectful behaviors throughout the school, they can earn a gold coin to use on the book vending machine where they can select a book to keep. Students love this incentive, and we love that it nurtures a love for reading. The ESSER funding made it possible to have multiple after-school clubs such as Lego, Battle of the Books, Game Board, Fun and Fit, and individual music lessons. Approximately a quarter of our entire student body participates in after-school clubs. We participate in Ropes and Challenges, which is a curriculum that helps students develop positive social skills such as teamwork, listening, cooperating, effective communication, and problem solving. We also have our annual fun run at the end of the year organized by our active PTO to raise money for PBIS. Students look forward to the fun run because there are individual classroom and school-wide incentives for meeting your goal, including being principal for a day with me. We offer full-time K-4 and K-5 programming at 95th Street School. We understand the importance of developing those foundational skills to help our students find success throughout their school career. We utilize the Frog Street curriculum in K-4. We have lots of hands-on learning, including using manipulatives, as you can see in the picture where the little girl is working on one-to-one correspondence using frog counters. We are full inclusion, which means our students with special needs work side by side their regular education peers. We have created sensory paths that allow for breaks when needed. We provide weekly family projects for our K-4 and K-5 families that coincide with what students are learning in school. And in May and August every year, we do Kindergarten Roundup, which invites all our new K4 and K5 families to 95th Street before they start school to meet the teachers, see the classrooms, and learn more about our school. Thank you for providing me with this time to talk about the positive things happening at 95th Street School. I'm happy to answer any questions relevant to 95th Street School that you may have.
Thank you very much for that presentation. And I will just say, having been to 95th Street School, which happens to be in District 2, it is always a place that has strong community engagement, an active parent group, and so many events happening on an ongoing basis. So thanks for all the exciting things that you're providing at your school for the community, your parents, and your students to do. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Carr.
Great work, 95th Street.
Thank you.
Leadership and the district representative. I absolutely love that your suspension rates are low. And what I heard you say was that counseling was one of the forms of intervention, which is excellent. And I wish we could replicate that in all of our schools, but I absolutely love that. So kudos to you all for doing amazing work, and keep it up.
Thank you.
I believe I saw President Peterson's hand.
Yes, congratulations. It's also always good to hear that enrollment is going up, and it's a sign of not just because, I say that not just because we need the numbers, but because it's a confidence in your school and your leadership, and I think that's great, so congratulations. I noticed that 14 of the schools in the area are K-5 schools, and I didn't see any middle school up there, so I'm just curious where most of the children go. First, I'll ask 95th Street School, what schools do they go to, and then perhaps some thoughts on the whole region.
Principal Sanders.
Director Simpson and members of the committee, 95th Street School families often pick MSL, Milwaukee School of Languages. It's just a few blocks away from us and is a very popular choice. Otherwise, they also choose Morse. Middle School is also a popular choice for many of our families.
Follow-up.
Just curious if that's similar to for the other schools, or if there's other places they go for middle school.
Administration.
Thank you, Director Simpson, President Peterson. When we look at the Northwest region, if you're looking specifically at our K-5 schools, they do tend to feed within our K-8 schools within our region. When they get past the K-8 schools, they tend to go to the surrounding high schools within our region.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee members? Do members of the public wish to make any comments?
Madam Chair, we have no request for public testimony on this item.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, thank you again for the presentation. Always nice to hear about one of our schools that is doing so well and meeting the needs of their students. Thank you. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item 10, which is the transmittal of and possible action on the Achievement Gap Reduction Program's end of semester report. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present this item?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, a report and presentation on the Achievement Gap Reduction Program will be presented by Chrissy Washington this evening, and after her presentation, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Chrissy.
Good evening, Chairman Simpson and other members of the committee. I'm Chrissy Washington, the Early Learning Manager, and I'm here to provide a mid-year report on the implementation and progress towards achieving proficiency of performance objectives within the Achievement Gap Reduction Program. The goal of the Achievement Gap Reduction Program is to improve the academic outcomes for the neediest learners within 5-year-old kindergarten through 3rd grade. This expectation is in alignment and supportive of the district's first and third priority of success, which is increasing academic achievement and accountability, as well as developing staff. The following are the demographics for this program. Currently, there are 10,578 students enrolled, with 19.9% being English language learners, 21.8% receiving special education services, and 86.5% identified as economically disadvantaged. The Achievement Gap Reduction Program operates within 63 schools and one non-instrumentality charter. On the screen is a list of the schools by region. The AGR program implements two strategies, district-wide, which is class size reduction in 5-year-old kindergarten, and instructional coaching provided for all students participating in the program, 5-year-old kindergarten through 3rd grade. The program abides by the belief that gaps will close when teachers have the instructional supports available, which empowers them to create high-quality environments and responsive classrooms. Thus, it is through the ambitious instruction, accelerated learning, district-wide focus that leaders, support staff, as well as other educators are provided a multi-level system of support in the areas of balanced assessment, high-quality instruction, and culturally responsive practices within the areas of English language arts and math. In English language arts, the district focus is on ensuring every student has the ability to comprehend and create text because it is the primary way information and ideas are shared. In order to perform these actions with ease, students need preparation by receiving instruction and support in comprehension, writing, speaking, listening, and reading foundational skills. For math, the primary focus is on building conceptual understanding of mathematical concepts, and this is done by supporting the development of children's mathematical thinking. For the purpose of this update, English language arts and math data from the standards-based report card is utilized due to the school district not being able to uniformly assess K-5 through 3rd grade elementary students using a progress monitoring tool such as the STAR assessment. The report card information allows for data gathering on children to be linked directly to standards being taught and provides a continual data point on student progress in the areas of English language arts and math. The following slide will reflect an analysis of baseline data comparing fiscal year of last year, FY22, and this year's standards-based report card grading when in the areas of English language arts and math content for trimester 1 in grades K-5 through 3rd. This data point provides a foundational basis for tracking progress towards proficiency and advanced levels by the end of the school year. The following results were revealed. The data tables for English language arts reflects the content standards addressing foundational skill development, and whereas math standards highlights math practices. The trimester 1 results have shown that comparatively, the baseline for the percentage of 1st through 3rd grade students with proficient and advanced grades improved from last year to this year in both areas of English language arts and math. Although the report card data for kindergarten indicated a slight decline of students who were identified as proficient or advanced comparatively in the baseline year, it should be noted that Brigant's data indicated that students predominantly met academic and language expectations at the beginning of the year, so the intent is to continue to support this grade level so to meet and hopefully exceed expectations. Factors that may contribute to improving results is the impact of direct instructional coaching that it would have on foundational skill development in areas of math, as well as the strategies that support reading in the guided reading program. Another supportive endeavor has been the collective efforts provided by the Early Childhood Office within the Ambitious Instruction Initiative. Early Childhood continues to work on equipping teachers with more vigorous instructional strategies that allows for personalization and enhancement of social emotional learning. And this has been accomplished through various aligned professional development opportunities, such as working with literacy centers, play-based learning, and Frog Street. As such, the AGR office will continue to support the work of the district in order to further anchor students and provide continuous learning. The office worked on the following from the onset of this school year with the following accomplishments. We've continued to successfully submit the 64 funding and strategies reports that allow for the continuation of funding to occur. We've also brainstormed strategies to address small group instruction within AGR schools, and this has been an ongoing topic within curriculum instruction, with targeted instructional support provided specifically to AGR schools, with the upcoming release of some short videos that will provide additional support as well as model examples that educators could utilize. We continue to implement the Lexia Core 5 reading program within 9 AGR schools. This program is a Tier 1 technology-based literacy program that provides explicit, differentiated, systematic, personalized learning in reading instruction. We continue to serve on the Bridges to School Planning Committee. We've supported the coordinator who works with connecting the Milwaukee community and the 3 early childhood schools who participate in this program, which is inclusive of Browning, Westside, and Longfellow. And we've worked with them on goal setting as well as assessment that would align with the goals in the grant. And finally, we've provided, as has been mentioned, specific early childhood professional development opportunities and support for all individuals interested in getting that information. So what are the next steps? Well, there is a need for us to continue to provide explicit support to our K-5 through 3rd grade population. So the following plan of action will be taken by the AGR office from now until the end of the school year. We'll solidify a plan to increase coaching and support. We've found that it has been successful, so we'll continue to do so. However, as successful as well as provide explicit focus on small group instruction. We'll focus on that, continue to focus on foundational skill improvement in pre-K and K with the implementation of the Lexia Core 5 program within the schools that are implementing it. But we're also excited to be able to provide district-wide the language essentials for the teachers of reading and spelling training opportunity, which will begin fairly soon. So once again, we will encourage individuals to be able to participate in this, which will provide them with the foundational skill development that they may not have been provided when they were in their preparation programs. We'll continue to support the rollout and implementation of the Bridges to School project, and we'll continue to embed early childhood instructional content and support within the Ambitious Instruction Accelerated Learning Plan. So this concludes the update, and at this time, I'll be more than happy to address any questions that you may have.
Thank you for that report. Lots of work, lots of hard work going on for our early childhood kids. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Garcia.
Thank you for the report. I think that, and you spoke to this, and I'm happy to see also that it's part of the next steps, but obviously with kindergarten, do we have a sense of how many of the students that we have in kindergarten we had in K4? Like, is there a large percentage that it's like K-5 is the first time that we are getting them? I'm just trying to tie this into what we can do from a pre-K standpoint to ensure that, we're setting up our kindergartners up for as much success as possible, if we have them earlier.
Ms. Washington?
Chair Simpson, Director Garcia, and other members of the committee. No, I do not have the transition enrollment information that you are requesting, but I'll be more than happy to analyze and get the data that you need to address that question.
Thank you.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, we will have that information to you prior to the full board meeting.
Thank you. Any other comments? Director Carr.
Thank you for the presentation and thank you for the work that you all are doing. I can really appreciate the plan to increase the coaching and the support within the AGR schools for fiscal year 23. I think that is so critical, and I think with that, with those supports, it's going to show in our academic progress. So I do thank you all for including that in the next steps and also implementing it in what you all are doing right now. So great work.
Any other comments? President Peterson.
I'm curious if if you have the information about teacher vacancies at that level and how that might have affected the AGR schools. I'm sure, I know it's probably all over the map. Maybe I answer my own question, but just curious.
Administration?
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, at this time, Adrian Matalini is going to be looking at that and going to be walking out to share that information, but I will also yield to Ms. Washington to see if there's any anecdotal information that she has. However, we do have a listing of how many vacancies we have at those particular levels, and Adrian and I just went over that today, but I just don't remember. Chrissy, is there anything that you have anecdotal at this time?
We'll let Ms. Matalini get settled there.
Chair Simpson, Director Peterson, and other members of the committee. No, not at this moment do I have an update pertaining to the number of vacancies, but I would be more than happy to get that. The information that I had was reflective of Third Friday, and I'm sure that that has changed at this point of the year.
And while we're waiting for that, I guess I want to piggyback a little bit on what President Peterson is asking, because one of my questions was vacancies specific to the AGR schools. So, yeah, okay.
Chair Simpson, members of the committee, Adrian Matalini, Chief Human Resources Officer. From what I have here, it looks like we have roughly 22 vacancies, K-5 to third grade. It'll take me a little bit more time to get specifics when it comes to AGR, and I can have that for you at a later time.
Thank you. President Peterson, any follow-up?
Just to be clear, that only the 22 were for all the K-5 to third grade in the district. Okay, thank you.
Would you know how many classrooms that is?
Ms. Matalini?
Director Simpson, members of the committee, Adrian Matalini, Chief Human Resources Officer. Those are the teacher vacancy positions, so I don't know breakdown for classroom. I don't have that data.
Thank you.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, and those positions are being filled either by a substitute teacher or someone that is coming in from central or some form of staff, such as SST or someone within the school. So until we can find staffing.
Thank you. Yeah, so that information can be sent to the board when you get it. So those, the vacancies specific to AGR schools, and then how many classrooms that would be. Okay, all right, great, thank you. Madam Secretary, do any members of the public wish to make comments on this item?
Madam Chair, we have no request for public testimony on this item.
Thank you. Yes, my colleagues kind of had my questions. One was about the vacancies. I did want to ask, or just, I guess, make a comment. I know that it'd be very interesting to see how many of our students in K-5 were here in K-4, so that information could be shared with the board, because I know I've heard that, from some K-5 teachers that because of COVID, they were getting these students for the first time and who had not had experience maybe even in a daycare facility or K-3, K-4, and they're coming to them now in K-5. So it'd be interesting to see that, just to looking at that data. So if that could be sent to the board, that would be great. Is there any further discussion? All right, well, thank you for the work that's being done on behalf of the early childhood program in our district. It's important work and lays the foundation for much to come. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Madam Chair, that was the last. I'm sorry, Dr. Posley was
Administration.
requesting.
Chair Simpson and members of the committee, I just want to echo to the listening audience and everyone here that Milwaukee Hamilton High School was successful tonight in the sectionals of the WIAA state tournament, and they defeated Middleton, and will be playing on Saturday night.
Well, now that's a great note to end on, although I suppose it hasn't been official yet. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Madam Chair, that was the last item on tonight's agenda.
Now it's official. There being no further business before the committee, this meeting is adjourned. Please drive safely, everybody, on your way home. Thank you.